Hello business partners, my name is Clantis and welcome to Clantis on Business. So without further ado, let's get into the video. But before we get into the video, I would please ask you to smash the like button for me because it's going to help the channel with the YouTube algorithm to kind of like promote the video to more people. So anyways, guys, the purpose of this video is to give you an update that YouTube has dropped recently regarding advertiser friendly content guidelines that have been updated. So let me take you a little bit backward around October, November 2022, where YouTube dropped an update regarding profanity guidelines. So there was a time where YouTube, I don't know if they had had enough or they had many people complaining that YouTubers on their YouTube videos, they seem to be using a lot of profanity because sometimes kids are watching these videos. And I would wonder why kids will be watching our videos because there's already kid YouTube or YouTube Kids. And that's just for children, not for people like you and I who are adults. That is why every time you upload a video, you need to mark whether your video is made for children or not made for children. So I'm not quite sure how all of this came about, where now a whole policy was created that if you are going to use profanity in your YouTube videos, that will now violate YouTube advertiser friendly content guidelines. However, though, they did give a guideline as to at what point you are not allowed to use profanity. I think at that time it was around 30 seconds into your video. However, in March 2023, they made another update regarding profanity guidelines on your YouTube videos and the advertiser friendly content guidelines, where they said actually it's no more after 30 seconds into your video, but I think they said 3 seconds into your YouTube video. I'm not quite sure. Please, I'm giving you a homework. Do go read that update. It is under advertiser friendly content under profanity. See at what point, if you are a person who likes to express themselves by using profanity, just check so that you do not find yourself in trouble with YouTube's advertiser friendly content guidelines, because they take those very seriously. Now, I did say in my previous video when I made that update regarding the advertiser friendly content guideline update in November that I believe that YouTube at some point is going to remove all YouTube videos where profanity is used. That is why I'm going to repeat this advice that I would rather you not use profanity at all in your videos. If you are going to use profanity in your videos, I would say express yourself that way towards the end of your video. Do not do that at the early time of your video, in the middle of your video, but towards the end, just to emphasize whatever point that you want to emphasize. And please do not do it more than once, because I believe in the future, profanity as a whole is going to be removed off YouTube, and then all channels or all YouTube videos where you are using profanity are going to get lost. And if you lose all those videos, you are going to lose watch time, possibly even lose your monetization, where you have to build up to the 4,000 hours of watch time once again. And of course, the 365 days of that you are given by YouTube would also long lapse. And whatever hours that you are going to build are just going to get lost if you are not going to be building these hours as per to not lose those hours. So you don't want to put yourself through all of that work. So that is why it's important that just don't use profanity, period. Just don't use profanity. However, now it's even closer that within the first 3 seconds, I think it's within the first 3 seconds, if not first 8 seconds. I believe that the reason why they are reserving that first 8 seconds, I think it's 8 seconds. I think the reason why they are reserving that first 8 seconds is that, remember, whenever you are monetized. Okay, this guideline is mostly for people that are monetized, by the way, channels that are monetized. If you're not monetized, this is something for you to learn. So I believe that the reason why the first 8 seconds is reserved for no profanity is because in the beginning of the video, there would have been an ad. So there would have been an advert. So I believe that they don't want whatever company or brand that advertised, or the two brands that advertised in the beginning of your video be associated with that profanity word immediately your video has begun. So I think that's the reason why. I think also the reason why it was at 30 seconds at first with the November update is because of the same thing. Because sometimes some YouTubers, when they open the YouTube videos, if they have a sponsored video, the first 30 seconds, they will announce that this video is sponsored by, or thank you to whatever brand that has sponsored this segment of the video. And usually it's the first 30 seconds of that. So many other advertisers are feeling like, you know what, we are being associated with profanity immediately after the YouTuber has announced the sponsor. So that is why it was 30 seconds. The reason now it's 8 seconds, I know I'm repeating myself because I want to emphasize this point very clearly, that the first 2 adverts before people get to watch your content, they are adverts when you are monetized. So I think brands no longer want to be associated with profanity immediately after they had advertised on your video, and then suddenly you are throwing F-bombs and be this and mother this and all of that stuff that is used by some other YouTubers. I noticed that other YouTubers still have not gotten the point yet. I think because they are not reading the community guidelines, they are not reading any policies of YouTube. And I think this is very much so in Africa than it is anywhere else in the world, where I don't know. I know that we are not good at reading, but you are a YouTuber and you are forced to read those community guidelines. Otherwise, you will get an email one morning telling you that your YouTube channel is scheduled for deletion, meaning that YouTube is deleting your channel off the platform. Why? Because you've been flying blind through the YouTube algorithm and breaking all these community guidelines, the policies and things like that, and not also following these types of updates that I am giving you. However, though, the update that I'm giving you today is an exciting one for me, and I do have a personal story as to why I stopped doing something, because the updates that I'm going to give you today was not in action. I'm not quite sure how to put that in words. But I'm excited as a content creator who enjoy that content and posting that content now that YouTube has kind of like done what it has done. But I wanted to touch first on the profanity one and remind you that YouTube in November and March, so that is November 2022 and March 2023, they made an update about advertiser friendly content under profanity as to what the guideline is. Now let's get to today's update on this video. So basically the purpose of this video is to give you an update around advertiser friendly content guidelines. They have been changed, this time focusing on controversial issues. Now, one of the things that made a lot of us nervous as content creators, and I'm sure you have seen many of us content creators, that there are some words that we kind of like twitch or we recreate or blip or do something that will not get us a yellow icon. So if you are not monetized, usually when you upload a YouTube video, YouTube would first process your video, checking for anything that is controversial, words that are not allowed to be used on YouTube. And if it finds any, and when it's done processing your video, you are either going to see a green icon, meaning that that video is monetizable. That means it's going to be earning ad revenue. You as a content creator, you'll be making money out of that video. Or you are going to see a yellow icon. This is one that we all hate as content creators. We all hate the yellow icon because it simply means that the video's revenue is limited, meaning the ads are limited. That means there might not be ads at all that are going to play on that particular video, or we are going to earn from premium membership. So there are people that have subscribed for premier, meaning that they don't want to see adverts during a video, beginning, middle, or at the end. They don't want to see those, so they pay for that. It's called YouTube Premium. So YouTube Premium does not necessarily pay you a lot because it's a pool of people that they take out from in order to pay you. So that means if there's 1,000 of us and then there's only $100 to be shared by 1,000 of us, can you imagine that each one of us are going to get a cent out of that premium pool. So it does not pay that much. What a YouTuber wants is the green icon, because the green icon, it is as per your 1,000 views, meaning the CPM. If your CPM is $9.95 per 1,000 views, then it is $9.95 per 1,000 views, versus if it is a YouTube premium. So now the yellow icon is what we don't want, and it's also something that you will also not want once you are monetized on your channel. So now YouTube has made an update regarding advertiser friendly content guidelines on controversial issues. Now, what are these controversial issues that YouTube has made an update on? That is sexual and domestic abuse, abortions, as well as eating disorders. So let me tell you a personal story. I have a true crime YouTube channel that I have stopped posting on for the past 6 months or so. The reason why I stopped posting on that channel is because of the yellow icons. You can already tell. You are talking about heinous crimes. Some of the crimes that you are talking about there are sexual and domestic abuse. And then the moment you use such words, then you get a yellow icon, sometimes even a red icon. When you get a red icon, that simply means that video is not monetized, that you are not going to make a cent out of that video. So that used to frustrate me a lot, that every time there is a yellow icon, I have to appeal it. And then it takes days sometimes to appeal. Some of the videos, they will still stick to the yellow icon and they will tell you, no, you violated this guideline here and there under the advertiser friendly content guidelines. Or sometimes they'll say, oh, it was the algorithm, or no, the algorithm that detected that this was a controversial issue, but because a human being had to now review the video, and then they give you the green icon. So it is exhausting that every time you upload a video, now you have to twiddle your thumb and wait. Am I going to get a yellow icon? Am I going to get a green icon? Am I going to get a red icon? It's just this frustrating, and it's not good for your mental health. And now that YouTube has made an update around this is good news actually to people like me who have a true crime YouTube channel, where I do discuss where there's a murder. Before that murder, there was sexual and domestic abuse, and now no longer am I going to get a yellow icon according to YouTube. But let's go on as to how we are not going to do that. There are some things that I'm going to read that YouTube said so that I do not misquote them out of context. So basically, this is what YouTube is saying under this update. Let me put it to you this way. YouTube is allowing YouTubers to earn more ad revenue on content discussing topics such as abortion and adult sexual abuse. So meaning now we can now use the word sexual abuse. We can now use the words such as eating disorder. Now we can use the words such as abortions without having to get the yellow icon anymore, including this video itself. The fact that I'm using these words, that means this video will be monetizable, because the YouTube has updated this particular guideline that it will no longer demonetize the video, or it's no longer going to give the video a yellow icon or something of that nature. So before we used to say essay, let's say there was a violent act where a man forced himself on a woman, sometimes we have to use words like that. We would say essayed. And if we want to use the word abuse, I used to say abuse, or things of that nature, so that it does not come off to the YouTube algorithm that I am using words that are not supposed to be used on YouTube videos. So no longer we have to worry about that. Thank goodness. And then let me further read what YouTube says. It says that this means that content which discusses these topics without going into graphic detail can fully monetize. So there's a condition. If you are going to discuss sexual and domestic abuse, do not give graphic detail. Talk about it. Say what happened, but you do not go into detail. Also, you must also not seem to promote sexual and domestic abuse in your video. You are educating. The context there should be education, should be helpful resource to whomever is watching your video, rather than them learning the tricks and the hacks on how to, you see what I'm trying to say here? So you need to be very careful, because there might be a thin line there between you talking about sexual and domestic abuse and getting into detail about it. Rather, just talk about it at the surface level about these topics rather than going deep into it. So YouTube says that it has acknowledged that these types of videos can be helpful resource to users, which is very true. My true crime YouTube channel is all about educating people about true crimes in South Africa, and it is not to give anybody any kind of praise or promotion or things like that. These are cases that already have convictions behind them, and as a result we would get punished with a yellow icon or a red icon. So I'm just so excited that YouTube has finally heard our cry, because all of these changes happened because YouTubers went to YouTube and said, listen, we're not sure anymore what videos you want us to post on the platform, because every time when we try this, we get punished with this. And we understand that YouTube is evolving. We understand that YouTube wants to be seen to be the best platform for anybody to go on, either to watch videos or to post videos and things of that nature, including children. I'm not quite sure what children are doing in the main YouTube when they have their own YouTube for kids. But, you know, you cannot control children. At the end of the day, when you're at work doing whatever it is that you're doing, they could be watching YouTube videos that they are not supposed to be watching. So I don't know if that's the reason. And then YouTube continues to say, wherever possible, controversial issues discussed in a non-descriptive and non-graphic way aren't rewarded through demonetization. So meaning that if you are going to have a controversial issue in your video, do not go into detail, because the moment you go into detail, like graphic, like being descriptive of that incident or event, then you are not going to be rewarded with monetization. In fact, that video is going to get demonetized. Additionally, this is what YouTube continued to say: we are aligning our advertiser friendly content guidelines on eating disorders with YouTube community guidelines. So if you go to YouTube community guidelines, you will see eating disorder being one of the forbidden fruit to talk about on your videos. However, though, YouTube does have a condition, and it says content which focuses on eating disorders and shares triggers like guides around binging, hiding and holding and abusing laxatives will not receive ad revenue. So if you are going to talk about eating disorders, do not talk about how to suppress your appetite and things like that. Do stay away from describing those things. Stay away from talking about laxatives. Stay away from talking about hoarding, because there are some people, eating disorder can come in two different ways. I'm not going to mention which are the two different ways, so you can see already I'm avoiding going into detail. So stay away from going into the description of the eating disorder, otherwise your video is going to get demonetized. And in conclusion, YouTube says educational or documentary content and survivor content that reference these aspects of having an eating disorder without promoting such activities won't be impacted by this change. So stay away from being descriptive. That's it. Same goes with sexual and domestic abuse and abortions. Stay away from descriptions of that particular activity. You will get demonetized. Worst case scenario, you might actually get an email from YouTube telling you that your YouTube channel is going to get deleted by the platform. So stay away from such things and just follow the YouTube guidelines. And I will plead with you once again, please read the YouTube policies. They are going to help you. One of the things that I keep seeing, and I'm not quite sure why people do not read these guidelines, because when you open a YouTube channel, YouTube will send you an email on the guidelines that you need to read. And one of this that I feel so bad for when I see it happens on YouTube is people showing their children on their videos. Showing your children on your videos. And some people will come to my DM and say, hey, Why my video does not have a comment section? People can't like, people can't comment, people can't do anything. That's because you showed your child on your video. And YouTube is limiting that because you did not mark that the video is made for children. Do not put anything that will get a child interested in that video, like having toys in the video, like toys that will get a child attracted to that toy, playing music that a child will be attracted to, seeing other children in the video. That is why YouTube is going to remove the comment section and the like button. Basically, it removes very important features of that video. And when you become monetized at some stage, that particular video will never be monetized. Automatically is demonetized. And I keep seeing people with kids in their videos. YouTube has a separate platform for children. It's called YouTube Kids, I think. Is it YouTube Kids or Kids YouTube? It's one of that. That is where kids should be shown, not on your main channel. Please understand that. I keep seeing this happening and I don't know why. There's a policy called COPPA, C-O-P-P-A. I think it is Children Online Private Protection Act or something like that. I will put it in the screen just to show you what this COPPA is, an abbreviation of that particular act. It's an American law and YouTube is American. Please understand that YouTube is American and therefore this law is universal. So keep away from showing your children on YouTube. Keep away from showing your children on YouTube. The YouTube algorithm may not have picked that up yet, but at some point it will. And if you are monetized, it will demonetize that channel or that video in particular. You're not going to make money out of it. Imagine all that work that you have that you've put into that video only to find at the end that it cannot make money. Keep away from your children. If your children are going to be in the video, don't show them. Rather, let us hear their voices in the background. Let us hear the voices, but we must not see their faces. So I don't know. At the end of the day, it's your channel, it's your content. If you want to document and show your children, there's nothing much I can say or do about it. It's your channel, but you must understand YouTube has policies, and I'm asking you, please go read these policies. They are for your best interest as a content creator on YouTube. Well, if you like the video, like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you next time with a new video. Goodbye.